Good Monday evening, folks. Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandajis here with you. Thanks so much for joining us here on 13 News Now Plus. So we're going to do a little stream talking about our ongoing soggy weather conditions that have really been a culprit from the stationary boundary that pretty much was strewn across the area all weekend long. It is now beginning to move a little bit down to the south, but it's still in our general area, so we are still tracking some isolated downpours out there. But after the rain risk goes down, by the middle parts of this week, in fact, by as early as Wednesday, our temperatures are going to shoot up into the mid-90s. And with the humidity, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Talking about heat index values, feels like numbers climbing north of 100, not just for like a day or two. We've got several days in the forecast that looks to be well above normal for this time of the year, right in time for the official start of summer coming our way on Friday. So here's satellite and radar. I'm going to show you a 6-hour loop here, and you can see where that boundary is situated. For a little while, it was stationary across our area pretty much all weekend long. And as we got the daytime heating to really kick up, it activated that boundary, and we saw widespread downpours, some severe thunderstorms sort of in the mix there as well. But the slow-moving nature of the downpours led to the flash flooding risk. And eventually the threat that we saw play out yesterday with numerous flash flood warnings. And even this evening, we've got a couple out there, too. So let's switch over to live radar. You can see that everything is focused down to the south, closer to where that boundary is in northeastern North Carolina. And that's where we do find any warnings that are currently up. Two flash flood warnings that are currently up for a part of the area, including Pasquotank County and back over into Gates and north of Belvedere as well. You can see the info on this in Pasquotank County here. This is an observed flash flood warning, meaning that there is flash flooding ongoing within this warned area, including Elizabeth City and down into southern portions of Pasquotank. This is up until 8 o'clock. So for about another hour or so, they're expecting the flash flooding to occur in that area. We've got a separate flash flood warning that's a little bit farther to the west here, and this one is radar indicated. Now, the difference between the two is kind of self-explanatory there. Radar is indicating that enough rain has fallen over an amount of time in this area to cause flash flooding. The flash flood warning that's up for Pasquotank has actually been observed. There's been validated accounts of flash flooding happening in those spots. So two different flash flood warnings up for this area. This one is up for a little while longer until 9:30 tonight. And you can see the heavy rain is just about to exit those areas. How much rain have we seen? Let's go back and look at the last 6 hours. And you can see here in southern portions of Pasquotank, just south of Elizabeth City, some of these, let's go back, that's 12 hours. Let's go back to 6 hours here. Some of these numbers here going up and over 3 inches just south of downtown Elizabeth City, a little closer, a little over an inch. Now let's move a little bit farther to the north and west here, over towards Parkville, where we're seeing some of these rainfall totals, 2.5 inches or so near Kisco, around 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches almost. And then to this other flash flood warning here that's currently up. That doesn't really show all too well. Let's go back an hour. Look at some of these totals here. This is just over the last hour. Some of these numbers here near Hoffler's Fork, Mittensville. So we're looking at rainfall rates within this flash flood warning over the last hour of 1 to 2 inches, a little over 2 inches per hour. And now, since we've been so saturated, we've had so much rain this weekend, some of these spots picked up 3, 4, 5 inches of rain Saturday and Sunday together. Ground saturated. When you get a heavy downpour, it's just that much easier to cause some flash flooding. There's nowhere for the rain to go. Okay, so ground saturated, can't really absorb any of that rain out there right now. So that's what we're dealing with at this time. And then this flash flood warning is actually within a flood advisory that you can see covers a much larger area for, again, the possibility of some areas of isolated flooding, flooded roadways, things like that, some swollen creeks, especially in those certain areas right now. But it's only in northeastern North Carolina. Throughout Southside, we did have some rain earlier. We go back 3 hours, and there were some downpours into portions of Suffolk, South and Central Suffolk, over in Isle of Wight, into Southampton. But those have all fallen apart. Why? That boundary has slid a little bit farther to the south, and that's where we'll find the remainder of any flash flooding threat be focused closer to that boundary. And once the sun goes down, we'll start to see the activity fall apart, much like the last couple of days. It's really driven by daytime heating. Even though we didn't have much of it today, air temperatures were noticeably cooler. In fact, check out the high temperatures, the observed. Most areas, especially to the north, were in the 70s today. Thanks to all that cloud cover, we only hit 73 at West Point Airport at Norfolk, 76, 10 degrees below the normal for this time of the year. But look at North Carolina. Saw readings in the low to mid 80s today, and dew points did not go anywhere. So there is still an ongoing flash flood watch up, and this remains in place for all northeastern North Carolina cities and counties all the way until 2 o'clock in the morning tonight into tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning officially at 2 a.m. And that's for the ongoing possibility, like we're already seeing right now, of some additional flooding to be happening if we get any of these concentrated downpours to roll through the area. So after that risk for flooding kind of kicks out of here, we see things wind down, we get a period to dry out. Our focus will then shift to temperature spiking. And I want to show you here what the next 10 days may hold. It's a 10-day temperature trend, okay? Once we get hot, we stay hot. Temperatures tomorrow in the mid to upper 80s. Wednesday and Thursday forecast highs could be the warmest we've seen so far this season, into the mid 90s. And we get a little taste, a little break on Friday at 89. That's going to be driven by a boundary that'll drop on in Thursday night. And that will also initiate a few storms. So we could see flash flooding again in some of the heavier downpours, but also if you catch those downpours, it'll cool things down a little bit too. So that brief reprieve from the heat on Friday, and then look at the weekend, mid 90s both Saturday and Sunday, and straight clear into the middle to almost end of next week. We're looking at least 90-degree high temperatures. And with the humidity not going anywhere, we'll probably be feeling like close to 100, if not 101 to 104, 105. Now, to get a heat advisory issued or any heat alerts for our area, we need to see a sustained heat index or feels like temperature of 105 for several hours. And that could be possible on Wednesday. There's been chatter about it from the Weather Service saying that we may need a heat advisory in some spots on Wednesday, but I think it may be more likely into the weekend and next week as a heat ridge or heat dome takes shape along the southeast. Really, most of the eastern seaboard will be seeing the heat. And depending on where the center of that high pressure sets up, we'll see the hottest temperatures. Now, why is that? Well, when you're directly underneath a summertime ridge like that, you get something called, we get sinking air. And when you get that high pressure strong enough, you get something called compressional heating. And when you compress the air at the surface, it heats up much more. So that pushes temperatures even higher. So directly underneath that ridge, wherever that sets up, will determine the areas that possibly see some record-breaking heat. I don't think that'll be here. I think that'll likely be farther to the north, maybe closer to D.C., maybe Philadelphia, maybe in New Jersey and portions of outside the New York City metro area could possibly be seeing the brunt of the heat. But nonetheless, still looking to be really hot here in the Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. Let's talk about the heat index, okay? So that's going to be what it feels like outside. I want to wind things back and start things off here tomorrow afternoon. Already tomorrow afternoon, when the thinning of the cloud deck occurs, we'll see sunshine come out, and it will get the heat index, or feels like numbers, to climb into the upper 90s as early as tomorrow. So we're shifting gears quite fast across our area just in the next 24 hours, and we'll see those feels like numbers nearly 99, Elizabeth City over to Wahoskie, mid-90s out at Norfolk. Now we'll play it out. Let it play right on through to Wednesday afternoon when air temperatures are expected to be in the mid-90s. Heat index values, feels like numbers approaching triple digits. I think they'll probably end up being higher than that. 101, 103, 104, a possibility. And then we'll go as far out as this model takes us, right into Thursday morning. And by early Thursday afternoon, we're already feeling like it's close to 100 degrees. So the heat will be on big time. The only break will come from a frontal boundary that will possibly ignite some strong to severe storms. The outlook day 4, which would be Thursday, does put parts of our area, north and west, under a level 2 risk out of 5 for severe weather Thursday afternoon and evening as that boundary interacts with that unstable, hot, humid air mass. Plenty of fuel in place. And think about this also, when we get that heating, we have all the moist ground around, so that's going to help to evaporate it and just add even more moisture to the atmosphere. So our precipitable water, our PWatts, will be even higher. And if you've heard me explain it before, PWatts is basically a column of air. When you compress it down, you squeeze out all the liquid moisture. And PWatts, when they get up to 1.5, 2.5 inches, that's tropical. That's 2.5 inches of water squeezed out from a column of air. We'll likely have our PWatts much higher over the coming days, especially when we see more sunshine as evaporation really starts to take over from all that rain that we've seen the past couple of days. So with that being said, a level 2 out of 5 We do have a weather impact alert again declared. I know we've had 4 in a row, Friday through today. We'll get a break for 2 days, and then on Thursday it kicks back in for the possibility this go-around of strong to severe thunderstorms Thursday afternoon and evening, gusty winds, still the heavy downpours, and there could even be a hail component here as well with some of the strongest of the storms. But then really the focus is going to be the heat returning quickly thereafter. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all looking to be hot and well above average that you can see this time of year is only in the mid-80s. So here's an early look at your upcoming weekend. The good news here is it's going to be dry. Okay, I couldn't say that for the last 2 weekends. We had rain, storms, severe weather. This weekend is looking quiet weather-wise, but the heat will be the big thing. First official weekend of summer. So beach weekend looking good, 95, hot and humid both Saturday and Sunday with some hazy sunshine out there. All right, I'll leave you with 7-day forecast because it's a lot of heat in there. We only have 2 days that are looking for highs in the 80s, which is 80s is where we should be this time of the year. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all looking at highs in the mid-90s. Let's get one more check, though, on radar imagery here, where we're seeing some flood advisories and flash flood warnings. Again, all in northeastern North Carolina. That's where you're also having some thunder and lightning, but nothing severe out there at this hour in terms of severe thunderstorms. Observed flash flooding going on in Pasquotank County, as you saw that there was 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in some of those spots in the last couple of hours. And a separate flash flood warning is now up for portions of Chowan, Gates, and Perquimans until 9:30 tonight. The rain is finally tapered off. Well, it's pushing towards Belvedere now, but you can see here, you go back over the last couple of hours, and it was pouring in that area. And as I talked about, ground is saturated. It doesn't take much after 3 days in a row of heavy downpours each afternoon to warrant the issuance of ongoing flash flood warnings here. So that is finally beginning to dissipate, moving towards Belvedere. So things should improve in those areas, hopefully in the short term. But for now, that's about it. Off to the north, maybe a few sprinkles in the south side, in the southeastern Virginia. But for the most part, things have wound down there. We'll continue to keep our eyes on northeastern North Carolina. Again, with the setting sun, another hour and 20 minutes or so, we'll start to see activity begin to fall apart and taper due to some lighter shower activity. But until then, the risk is there for some flash flooding. All right, that's the latest, folks. Our focus will turn to heat over the coming days. The latest forecast for you on the TV side of things coming up tonight on 13 News Now at 11. Thanks for tuning in here on 13 News Now Plus. Enjoy the rest of your evening.